Okay, so let's break down, unpack, whatever you want to say, this whole thing. So a article came out that caught my attention. So of course I went to the research and read the research study for y'all, so you didn't have to. But um, intelligence. There was that was the article. It came out in May, this month, 23, and it's was by Elizabeth M. Doerk and William Revel and David M. Corden. Again, if I butcher names, I apologize. I'm human. But basically, the findings were that there is a reverse Flynn effect. So, the Flynn effect, and I didn't know this until I started researching this, so I want to share something I learned with y'all. The Flynn effect states that it's a theory that each generation will be on average 3 to 5 or a little bit more intelligent than the previous generation. And this theory has held stable since the mid 30s. Um until now. For the first time since the mid 30s, we are seeing what's called a reverse Flynn effect. The rising generation has lower IQs than the preceding generation. And that has caused a lot of speculation. Everyone's got an opinion. And of course, it's just how it is. I mean, who doesn't have an opinion on something nowadays? It seems like everyone's got an opinion on everything. So, some of the things that were postulated, put out by the researchers, that is that maybe it's in part due to our reliance on technology and the internet, and this could be exacerbated by the development of AI. And I wanted to actually, so this was the concept that was discussed in a couple different places, but I wanted to actually give you a quote straight up from the researchers and what they had to say about this. And they said, as scores were lower for more recent participants across all levels of education, this might suggest that either the caliber of education has decreased across this study's sample and or that there has been a shift in the perceived value of certain cognitive skills. And that's where the speculation in regards to um, overuse of technology has come in, that we're too reliant on Google and Grammarly and spell check and all of these things that used to be skills that people would develop. And now we just let computers do them for us. And that kind of rings true on multiple factors. But then there was the other point that they made, that it was regardless of education levels. Because evidently, with previous studies, they've noticed that based on education levels, the IQ increases were different. Or maybe some lower education levels, there were IQ drops, but overall it increased with each generation. This, even the most educated have shown to have lower IQs than previous generations. And that's kind of shocking. I mean, that's really kind of eye-opening. And I personally do feel like Chat GPT and these other AIs are going to only exacerbate the problem instead of learning and gaining this information and intelligence that has previously pursued. People are using the leisure time for other things. So basically, with every previous generation, and this is my observation again, but with previous generations, every time there's been a technological advancement, people have used the freed up time to acquire or achieve more. So, for example, with the introduction of electricity, people no longer needed to make their own candles. And so they had more time to do other things. Or with the improvement of the ovens or household items. Heck, I don't even have to vacuum or sweep my floors anymore. I got a Roomba to do that. So, with these previous technological advancements, we would have a little bit more leisure time with each generation. And those subsequent generations have used that leisure time to pursue um, more knowledge, more experience, just doing and achieving more. However, that no longer seems to be the case. Um, right around the same time that this happened, ironically enough, the sample set was rich achieved. This sample set was collected between 2006 and 2018. Ironically enough, the smartphone became ubiquitous around 2007. So this is the first group where they've had smartphones, they've had all of this technology at their fingertips. And in my opinion, that I believe factors into this whole scenario. Um, it's a part of that equation. Again, correlation's not always causation, and I do know that, and there is no research studies yet. I mean, we just found this out. So, of course, there's probably going to be follow-up research studies that will clarify what the exact factors may be. But educated guess here that we spend more time on social media and entertainment than any previous generations have. And I can only imagine that has got to have some level of impact on intellectual development. So, what can we do as individuals? What can we do maybe as parents? I mean, as in both cases, as an individual and as a parent, this was concerning to me. And so started to think about what I could do for myself and what I could do to help my kids. And part of it is reducing dependency on technology and returning back. So, um, honestly, I'm not the best speller in the world, and I really do heavily rely on spell check and grammar check. I do. And that's not bad. But at the same time, one thing I've learned by helping my kids with their homework is the importance of learning how to spell words. My kids are constantly asking me, how do you spell this? How do you spell that? And that's actually been a wonderful opportunity for me to step up and improve my spelling. But for those who don't have kids who need help with spelling homework all the time, maybe that's a goal you can set for yourself. It's like, hey, I want to learn how to spell XYZ words. Come up with a spelling word list that words you want to be able to spell better. Um, come up with these educational goals for yourself. I thankfully, in the process of teaching my kids, I'm learning and reinforcing education stuff for me, so that's helping. The other thing is returning to a classical education. I am really grateful for all of the technological advancements we have. I really do like the fact that the kids do get a chance to learn how to use technology. However, I have felt more and more uncomfortable with the amount of screen time at school that my kids were getting. And I understand it makes things a bit easier for teachers when the grades and tests can be done automatically and assessed very quickly. They can keep everything digitally. It reduces paper waste. There's obvious advantages and logical reasons why schools have become more computer heavy. However, for children who have learning disabilities or ADHD or whatnot, that can also become a hindrance. And that I was actually just talking to one of my kids' doctors yesterday. Um, it's been shown that individuals who are not ADHD, if they have too much time on the computer, can develop the symptoms of ADHD because of it. So this is not exactly the best thing. And um, at the elementary level, I just feel like they're on the computer too much. So we've decided to switch our kids for multiple other reasons, but this has been a factor on why we picked the charter school we did. But we're pulling our kids out of public school and putting them into charter school. I love the administration of the public school we've been at. They are great people. They work hard. They do their best. But the great thing about this charter school is they have a classical education system and they have smaller classroom sizes and more one on one instruction. And that is going to be better for my kids in the long run. So that's why we made that choice. And part of the thing that made me really happy is our kids are going to be using actual textbooks instead of computer tech, electronic textbooks. And you know what? I hear you. You're probably thinking, but your kids are going to need to know how to use technology to survive in the modern world. Yes, they will. And you know what? We will teach them how to do that. But they don't need to be on the computer for several hours a day. Not as kids. My husband's in the IT field. uh, My father's in the IT field. My brother's in the IT field. My uncle's in the IT field. Trust me, we have IT people in this family. They will learn how to use technology. They'll be fine. They need to learn how to read a textbook. They need to learn how to take notes by hand. And I love the whole cursive thing. I'm excited about the kids learning that. But anyway, the next one is just reducing screen time in general. We, as a family, have started to work towards the goal of using, especially on the Sabbath, on Sunday, using technology less. It's helped just improve is like our home is more peaceful. Well, at least it has been we've not been doing it very long. So far, it's working great. Well, hopefully, it'll continue to work great. But honestly, unplugging as an adult is important too. This is the first generation of parents that has had little portable computers they could take with them 24/7. And I've realized this year that I am on my phone so much. And so I am trying to be more present with my children and set my phone down more frequently and just turn my phone off. We've started just playing music in the house because I like have something going on like in the background. I like to listen to something. And so I'd very frequently would have audiobooks or podcasts going, but sometimes I'd just be listening to myself, not for the kids. And so the house would be quiet for everyone but me. Um, and so recently we've switched to playing more classical music or instrumental music. My kids, to do chores, I've started putting together a soundtrack playlist because, dude, some movies have fantastic soundtracks. I will admit I'm a total John Williams fan, and Lord of the Rings, those soundtracks are epic. But I have to say, I'm completely in love with the new Top Gun Maverick soundtrack, too. It's got some great instrumental scores. And so I've put together a playlist of instrumental soundtrack scores for my kids to listen to as they're doing chores, and they like guessing what movie it's from. I've even thrown in some old ones that they've not seen the movies from yet, and so it's fun for them to be like, "No, it's this. No, it's that." I'm like, "Actually, that's Chariots of Fire, and you haven't seen that yet, but we'll get to there." It's a good movie. We just haven't gotten to it yet. Um, but anyway, that is something just to think about. And the next thing is to improve family leisure time. And that takes me back to another research study. I dug into two research studies for y'all this week. This next research study was done in 2001. It's the influence of family leisure patterns on perceptions of family function by Zabreski and McCormick. And if I said that first one wrong, again, I'm human. Forgive me. But basically, what they found was the difference between core and balanced leisure. So, um, balanced leisure is like those big Disneyland moments. It's the big trips, it's the big experiences, just the things that you save up for, which are fine and fantastic and wonderful. However, they have less of an impact than core leisure time. So, core leisure time is those little things, the things that you do more on a regular basis: playing a board game, going for a hike, camping, reading a book together, just doing those simple things, gardening, whatever. And they actually gave a whole list in the research study of examples. But the thing I noticed from their list of examples, a lot of those things were unplugged. They were technology free experiences. And that, I think, personally, feel that that is a contributing factor. So they found that these core leisure experiences had more of an impact and were a bigger indicator of the family's resiliency and connectivity. And they generally did more for the family um, in their ability to function than the big, Disneyland moments. And again, not trashing on Disneyland or Six Flags or wherever you want to go for your big hurrah. We are personally saving up so that before our oldest graduates high school, the summer before he graduates, we want to do a big hurrah family vacation. We still haven't figured out where. We're mostly just saving money right now, but we do want to have at least one big hurrah family moment. But that's in the day to day, it's just sitting down and reading your kids a book. It's doing a puzzle, playing a board game. Just those fun things that you can do together. When my kids were little, I would, so this is going to sound really bizarre. But I just did not know what to do with my kids to fill up all the time that there was in a day when my husband was gone. So my husband was gone for an entire year, and I had three littles that were from oldest to youngest, 3.5 years apart. And so they were all really little. And so I had to very much kind of almost schedule our days. We'd be like, okay, we're going to do watercolor at this part of the day, and we'll do story time at this part of the day, and we'll play blocks with this part of the day. Because I had to come up with lists of things to do because the kids would get bored. And if they got bored, the house got destroyed or something got broken, or they would start arguing over something. And so it was so much more effective if I could just like schedule us out. Like, we're going to go do chalk now. You're going to help mommy with the gardening. We're going to go water plants. We're going to, just we very, not like rigorously scheduled, but like I had things to do with them that wasn't just putting in front of a TV. And part of the reason why I didn't want to just put them in front of a TV is because during my pregnancies with my kids, because of my disability and my pregnancy, I was super wiped out and could not do hardly anything. And so they got a whole lot of screen time during my pregnancies. So by the time I had my previous youngest and he was about two-ish, I'm like, yeah, we're going to shut off the TV as much as possible. Like, I don't want the TV to be the center of our universe. And in all honesty, we didn't actually own a TV. Most of the screen time they got was me playing a movie on the laptop. But that's a whole nother ball game. I really resisted getting a TV. I just did not want it in the house. We have one now, and now like people give my husband a hard time because our TV is so tiny. And I'm like, dude, it's bigger than the one I grew up with. We're fine. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. You don't need to, yeah, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But it's these little things. So anyway, getting to my final point, which is this summer, I'm trying to be a lot more intentional as a family about unplugging and doing other things. So I've got some checklists for my kids. My kids are older and they can pretty much read, but I have pictures to go with the checklist. So the basic checklist for the day, I mean, mine is Bubby, but cute baby cuteness. I take care of her, so she doesn't have to do the checklist. But it's get dressed, make your bed, put your dirty clothes in the hamper, eat your breakfast, empty your part of the dishwasher, help with a load of laundry, and practice your cursive. Those are their basic requirements. Then they need to pick four of the following things if they want to be able to have screen time later on in the day. Not right when they finish, but just, during screen time. And that's play outside for 60 minutes, read for at least 30 minutes, play a board game, be creative. So draw, use Legos, whatnot, paint a picture, use chalk. Write for 30 minutes. So write in a journal, write a story, write a letter. My my one of my daughters is a pen pal with her cousin. We're a military family. My husband has siblings who are also in the military, and luckily they have a daughter about the same age as my daughter, and they write letters to each other. So I think that's super cute. And then do something kind for someone, and then pick up the dog poop and clean up the backyard because I don't like doing that. I don't. I just don't. I don't. And in case my kids can't think of something nice to do, I have a whole list of that. And then if they manage to get all of that stuff done, they're all of their requirements, and it's still not lunchtime. So the whole goal is if they get that done before lunchtime, then after lunch, we'll have quiet time. Anybody who has gotten their stuff done can watch a show or play a game. And P.S., the games we have on our Switch or for our kids are usually multiplayer, cooperative, or educational games. We're very, very particular about what we have for our kids. Um, and that's largely me because I want I just want that. I want that for my kids. My husband thinks I'm a little particular sometimes, I think, but I don't have issues with it. So that if they are able to get their stuff done after lunchtime, they can have that tech time. If they haven't earned it, then they'll have quiet time in their room and they can read a book or take a nap, play with their stuffed animals, something quiet. And that will give Bubby, Bubby cuteness, that will give little Bubby cuteness a chance to get her nap without everyone running around screaming. So at least she'll get one nap, hopefully, during the summer. We're hoping. We can hope, right? Right? We can hope. So that's basically the game plan. And I've come up with, they managed to get all their stuff done and they're bored. Then I have a whole list of other things they can do that are screen free. So they can play tic tac toe, they can color in a coloring book, they can build a fort, they can draw a portrait of a family member. They can look at photo albums. Yes, I have photo albums. I am one of those people. I like tangible photos, largely because I want my kids to be able to look at photos without being on my phone. I want my phone. My phone, not theirs. Jump rope, put on a puppet show. Yes, we have puppets. Um, lay on the grass and watch the clouds, or lay on the trampoline and watch the clouds, whatever you want. Solve a puzzle, write a letter, practice braiding hair. My daughter's been into like practicing how to do hair because now she's got a baba sister and she wants to be able to do baby sister's hair someday. Not yet. There's not much hair to do, but someday we'll get there. Read to a sibling. That it's so cute when the kids ask to read to baby and I put like baby and it's adorable. Or read to a pet. They have tried reading to the dog. The dog's not a very good listener, but they try. Mad Libs, create a comic book, memorize a poem. The one thing my kids are super excited about with the creativity thing is I actually found a free printable format for the kids to make their own Pokemon cards. So they could even make their own like card game. I've got a laminator, so they're all way super excited about trying that this summer. We've got some of them want to learn how to make like cookies or different things like that. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun this summer and we're gonna do our best to do it without using screens. We're gonna try to unplug as much as we can. And so that's basically kind of what I wanted to share with y'all. Um, I am working on, I've got several interviews all lined up. I've got some episodes I've already pre recorded that will be dropping this summer because I didn't know how easy it was going to be to record with four kids and a dog. So I'm trying to be prepared. for y'all. The other thing is, I'm going to be dropping the date, but probably come end of January. I'm thinking last week of January and first week of July. I want to do kind of a book club. There's those two books that I've talked about previously. It's The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis and The Art of Comforting by Val Walker. And I want to kind of do a book club with y'all. I'm reading these, I'm loving these. I want to put out some questions. And if you want to go ahead and get them and read them and then give me your feedback, I kind of want to do that for an episode. So it'll be largely dependent on the participation feedback I get from everyone. So if you are interested in doing the book club episode with me, please go ahead and get a copy of The Art of Comforting from Val Walker or Four Loves from C.S. Lewis. The C.S. Lewis one, if you get the audio, it is like 2 hours listen. It's not that intense. But yeah, so I will be putting out more information in regards to those. So yeah, just keep sending me recommendations on topics. And if you have people you know who you would like, or topics, things you want interviews or more information on, I do look for contributors. And if there are people who you think would be fascinating for me to interview for the military, for all y'all. I'm not explaining this very well, but anyway, like for example, there's a military spouse I'm going to be interviewing this week who she started her own business, and I'm going to talk to her about that. So again, topics that you're interested in. I listed the whole teenager